Yo, what is up, everybody? Your boy E-Man coming at you from Average Joe Sports Talk Podcast with another episode, bringing you down the playoff predictions and reaction of the first round of the 2022 NBA playoffs.
Don't talk about playoffs.
I'm gonna break this down.
You kidding me?
Into two videos
Playoffs?
and then one full podcast that I'm also gonna go ahead and post. But I'm gonna try to break two videos down, one for the Eastern Conference and one for the Western Conference. So without further ado, man, I'm about to start. But I have to give a shout out to a team that did not make the playoffs. Actually, two teams did not make the playoffs. Number one, my Knicks. They suck. Such a disappointment. We took one step forward last year, getting into the fourth seed. Even though we lost in the first round, destroyed by Ice Tray, we took two steps back this year. I mean, it's just a curse of Tibbs, Tom Thibodeau, who is a good guy to rebuild the team, but doesn't sustain consistency. And another team, the NBA Lakers. The LA Lakers. From day one, your boy called it in free agency. This team was going to be a disaster. So anyway, without further ado, let's get to the meat and potatoes, the bread and butter of this podcast today, which is the NBA playoffs. Let's start with the Eastern Conference. Last night, the Nets took easy care of the Cleveland Cavaliers. A great story, and they clinched that seventh spot. So either way, let me just start. I'm going to leave the Heat for last, who are playing the winner of Atlanta, and they're waiting for the winner between Atlanta, the Hornets, who are playing tonight, and they're going to play the Cleveland Cavaliers. So out of those three teams, they're sitting pretty there at number one. I'm going to leave them for last. I decided to. I just wanted to make sure that at least the seventh seed was clinched, because it makes it a whole lot easier to kind of call these predictions and also the breakdown. But let's start with the 4 and 5 matchup. The 76ers and the Toronto Raptors. All right, look, honestly, it's a tough matchup. It's a tough matchup for the 76ers. I mean, look, they traded for James Harden, gave up a lot for James Harden, picks, players, a lot. They put all their eggs in the one basket of that James Harden trade. And 76ers should be the favorite because they do have Joel Embiid, the MVP. He should get the MVP this year. And honestly, man, it's not an easy matchup for them. It's really not an easy matchup for them. Even though they should be able to just go to the well and practically just keep doing what they're doing. Feed Embiid all day long. All right, and let James Harden get his. This is how we know they're going to be successful. It's all with James Harden. If James Harden has a typical regular season James Harden game, this is going to be good. If we get playoff James Harden in the past where he's faded and taken a ton of jump shots and play that ISO ball, that doesn't work in the playoffs. He's probably going to need more of be a playmaker, but also be able to score at the same time. But I think he needs to be a very, not conservative gameplay, but he has to be efficient, not the volume ISO basketball. He needs to play with the flow of the game. And the flow of the game goes to Joel Embiid, who averaged 30.6 a game. 11.7 rebounds. The man it's the MVP in the league. And that team needs to flow through Joel Embiid, and I think it will. Big difference between James and Tyrese Maxey, the point guard from Ben Simmons, is that they have somebody that when you kick it out, they will be able to hit a jump shot, especially a three. With the Toronto Raptors, it's a great story. Look, just Nick Nurse is one heck of a coach. All he does is just wins, all right? All he does is win. With Kawhi, without Kyle Lowry, it doesn't matter. This guy just wins. A great cast of young players. Spicy P, Paul Siakam. He is the leader in pretty much almost every stat in their team. 49% shooting, 22.8, 8.5 rebounds. But you also got Van Vliet, who can shoot the lights out. They're a scary team. Apart from the big three and Paul Siakam and Van Vliet, look, they have Gary Trent Jr., who's had a really successful year, 18.3 points per game. OG Anunoby, second-year player, 17.1. Scotty Barnes, candidate for Rookie of the Year. They got really 5 players that can light it up at any time. Great shooters. And they got some energy players off the bench, like Precious Achiuwa. Even though I think they got to be without Chris Boucher is another energy player that can actually get up and down the court, play some defense. Regardless of the fact, they're a scary team. I'm going to tell you why, because they get hot. Fred VanVleet is one of those guys that can really go off any day for 7 or 8 threes at any time. He could definitely do that at any time. Could go 7 or 8-3 at any time. Can hit 7 or 8 threes in a game. Scary. Now, my pick for this game is I'm going to go contrarian on this one. I know everybody's picking the 76ers, where they should, but I think the curse of James Harden keeps going. And he hasn't been in the best shape this year. And I think there's going to be some type of frustration. 76ers also should be the better team, and they're also the better defender. But I'm going to go with those pesky Raptors, man. I am really afraid of what Siakam can do, who has all this spicy P. Siakam, I can't even pronounce his name. But also what Fred VanVleet can do in a short series. And also Gary Trent. There's a lot of shooters, man, in this team. And guys that can light it up. Picking the Raptors on this one. Next matchup. All right, let's move to the Bucks facing the Bulls. Number 3 Bucks facing the Bulls. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. I'm going to tell you why. Because at the end of the day, this is going to be very easy. The Bucks are made for the playoffs. All right, they're made for the playoffs. Great story regarding the Bulls this year. They struggled a little bit there at the end. They kind of fell off. But, because DeMar DeRozan, like he does, he starts really hot throughout the year and just kind of like fades a little bit. And even though had a great season, I consider him for an MVP. But Giannis, man. Giannis right now is in a zone. And at the end of the day, this team is made for the playoffs. Drew Holiday, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and what's his name? My homeboy, Chris Middleton. They're made for this time of year. Bobby Portis has been huge this year during the absence of when Giannis has been out, and also during the absence of Brook Lopez, picking up some great minutes, 14.6 points per game. Drew Holiday steps it up. Their main lockdown defender can also score. Chris Middleton has missed the playoffs. And Giannis at 29.9 a game, another MVP consideration, another MVP type of year. It's gonna be scary. I don't know how many minutes, how much play DeMarcus Cousins is gonna get, but DeMarcus Cousins is gonna be a good piece, even if he gives them, anywhere between 15 to 16 minutes per game. You're gonna look at some productive minutes. All right, it's another body. Another person that can shoot the outside, but also can bang and get you some rebounds. You got the goodness of Grayson Allen, who took over for pretty much their heart and soul that was traded last year. And I think he's going to be one of the, nobody likes Grayson Allen, but he's going to go in there and be tough. 11 points a game. He averaged about 27 minutes a game. Another guy that can hit the three. It's just a scary team overall. They're the better team. They're the better defensive team, and in the playoffs, defense steps up. Like the Bulls, like what DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, who averaged 24 a game, on paper, they should give them a series. But on experience and greediness, it's going to be, look, DeMar DeRozan had an amazing year. He led the team in assists and also points per game. Zach LaVine at 24 points per game, you think, wow. Nikola Vucevic, 17 points per game, you think this should be able to light it up. With Lonzo, Kobe White, they got some good guys off the bench with Patrick Williams. But I think the Milwaukee Bucks are made for the playoffs. They're made for the playoffs, and they've been there before. They've been there so much more than this group right here. Great season for the Bulls, but they're not going to get out of the first round. I definitely going to give Milwaukee the nod on this one. Let's go over to the Nets at number 7 seed and the Celtics. Listen, everybody in the NBA, anybody in the Eastern Conference did not want to see the Nets as a lower seed in that first round. Let's be freaking honest. I know Miami said their prayers, probably sacrificed the GOAT to make sure they beat the Milwaukee Bucks so they didn't have to play them at number 8. And right now, the Celtics, look, it's a bad matchup regardless. The Celtics are going to play hard. They got a good team. They resurged at the end of the year. It's a shame that they're going to have to. The Boston is going to have to meet the Nets and probably be a complete out in the first round. So, look, we know what Jason Tatum can do. We know their defense. We know what Jaylen Brown can do. These guys been there before. They've been there many, many times. They've done it. They play hard in the playoffs. Unfortunately, they should be advancing, right? Typically, because of the higher seed, but I don't think it's going to happen this time. I think they're going to fall to the Nets. KD and Kyrie are synced. I don't know when Ben Simmons is coming in, but that Nets team it's a dangerous team in the playoffs. Very dangerous team in the playoffs. Again, Jaylen Brown. We know what Jason Tatum can do. I know Marcus Smart, tough player, but I don't think it's going to be enough to take down playoff KD. Playoff KD is a different animal. Kyrie, playoff Kyrie is a different animal too, and he finished out the last few games after only playing part-time because of the mandates, looking really, really sharp. Listen, you all keep forgetting that the Nets would have probably been the first or the second seed in this league, in the Eastern Conference Final if it wasn't for KD coming down. And remember, Kyrie was not playing full time. Without Kyrie playing full time, this team was was top 3 in the Eastern Western Conference. And they went 8-19 when KD went down, when Kevin Durant went down. So you got to take that into consideration. They're a better team now than they were before the James Harden trade. All right, let's keep it real. They are a better team. They are a better team than when they had James Harden. Why? Because these freaking people have. I mean, come on, man. Seth Curry, if healthy, great shooter. Right now, they got shooters all around. All right, Shannon Brown. Shannon Brown is their heart and soul, man. Both end of the floor, can also score. Guard's the best player. They got size with Drummond and ability and also speed. They're made for the playoffs, just like the Bucks. They're a scary team. Unfortunately, they don't have any home court advantage, but they have everything else. I mean, Patty Mills off the bench. All right, he actually led their team in assists per game. Kevin Durant is the man. I mean, look, it's a tough sell. It's a very, very tough sell. It's a very tough sell. I mean, man, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, Patty Mills of the bench, and Bruce Brown. I'm sorry, it was not Shannon Brown. I meant Bruce Brown. Nick Claxton, energy player. He's got to match up with a lot of guys. You got the veteran Goran Dragic. He's only going to get, he's giving you like 25 minutes a game. It's going to be a huge relief for Kyrie to play the 2 guard. All right, and also give him some break. Kessler Edwards, young player, can also gotta give you some really, really good positive minutes. All right, they're pretty deep now. They're so deep, it's not even funny. And without any injuries, this team, unfortunately for the Nets, unfortunately for the Celtics, it's gonna upset the Celtics. It's a shame. It's a darn shame. But nobody wanted to see the Nets. I know those top 3 seeds did not want to see the Nets making it to the bottom 3 seeds, all right, the 8th, the 7th, or even the 6th. That would have been a tough matchup also for the Bucks. I think the Bucks is a team that probably going to take them out in the first round. With that being said, let's go finish it off, man. We got the Heat against possibly either the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Atlanta Hawks, or the Charlotte Hornets. We're playing for that 8th seed right now. The winner of the Hornets and Hawks, like I mentioned earlier, will play Cleveland, the Cavs, in order to face the Heat. And man, I think the Heat will be able to handle convincingly pretty much any of those teams. The Heat are one of those teams that are like Udonis Haslem said, they're not pretty. They're not pretty in the dance, right? Because their game style is lunch pail attitude, kind of construction worker, right? They come in, they get busy. But the Heat have such a deep team, man. Such a deep team. Look, Tyler Hero, off the bench, 6th man of the year, 20.7 points per game. All right, you got Kyle Lowry, who hasn't played, or did not play a full season, but playoff Kyle Lowry is a little bit different. Okay, and look, even Victor Oladipo dropped 40 points in his last game. I don't think he's gonna be part of this rotation, but and I even mentioned Jimmy Butler, who led the team in scoring at 21.4. And Bam Adebayo, who again had another double-double, solid year, 19 points a game, over 10 boards. This is when these guys, the athleticness of the speed of Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, pick and roll with Adebayo all day, Tyler hitting the outside shot, Jimmy just playing all around Jimmy, Duncan Robinson and Max Strus hitting them threes. They're deep. They're very, very deep. They've gotten such positive minutes from Dwayne Dedmon at center. It's going to be one of those series. They're going to play 6-7 deep, all right? Probably up to 8. I don't know how much playing Oladipo is going to get, but you got Victor freaking Oladipo healthy. Well, maybe not 100% healthy, but an option. When people are struggling, like let's say Duncan Robinson may be struggling, or Max Strus, guess what, dude? Oladipo is going to get some play. So it's a deep team. They're gonna do quick work of anybody that they face out of any of those 3 in the first round. the Heat for sure. They're going to take this one down without a problem. It is what it is. All right. Check out the next video for the Western Conference prediction, okay? Thank you very much for watching.